What's going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to the Zeonizer podcast. I am Mr. Fun Guy, or my friends call me Jeremy, whichever one you want to call me. I am joined today with my compatriot, my homebro, my homie. I can't talk today. So let him hear you, man.
What's going on, folks? This is your boy David, aka your boy PhenomenalMiklo, man. Uh, bro, I am hyped as hell for today's episode, bro. Like,
Me and you both, bro. Me and you both.
dude. So, for those of you, we're gonna let you in on a little insider baseball, right? So, right, right before we click record, right, we get a notification that a guy that we follow, who's big in like the cosplay universe, right, for Power Rangers, went live. Name is Grim the Dragon. Okay, this dude gave the podcast a shout out, right? And he's gonna be joining us on a stream of ours. And dude, like, just him, out of all people, just giving us a shout out, man, just shows the love that we all share as Power Ranger fans.
Exactly. And GG5. If you know who we're talking about, he's on Instagram. You can see this guy at every Power Ranger convention, WonderCon, IckyCon, any con. This man is at. He does 110%. He's great all around. He's got tons of friends on Instagram and YouTube. And I tell you, anytime he has a live video, you don't want to miss it. He always gives a shout out. He always gets credit and respect to the fans of the franchise, Power Ranger franchise. And he's just an awesome dude. And we are proud to have him on the show the day after at the 30th anniversary to get his take, and we can all talk Power Rangers together as fans, as a fandom and a community. We have to be there for one another. We have to, stick with one another after our loss of our hero JDF, and it's going to be an awesome sight. So Grim, if we're gonna send this to you and let you know we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Um, we are a small town channel. We're trying to get there. We're grinding each and every day, and hearing you give us a shout out, man, gave us more hope and it gave us inspiration to keep on doing what we're doing. So we thank you, man.
Yeah, man. So, uh, dude, that has me hyped for sure. I love this guy. Like, this dude is just awesome, bro. He's
Yes.
just amazing. Um, so I'm excited, for the things that we have planned and everything.
Yep. And the
Yeah.
fact that we'll see him at PMC, because believe it or not, his birthday is the same week as PMC. So we will see him at Power Morphicon, and we will have the honor to bestow upon him the first ever Zeonizer podcast shirt. It's just great, awesome. I love his live videos. I try to check them out whenever I can if I'm not working as much, and it's going to be a great thing to see. So GG5 Grim, just thank you, my man.
Yeah, bro. So thank you for the shout out. I mean, we love you, man, and we love what you represent. So yeah, dude. Let's jump straight into today's episode, bro. So uh,
Mm.
we have a little something special for you guys today.
Exactly. Yep. We are doing a Super Sentai. So for those of you who are listening or watching the stream, me, David, and we have a we have a third person who is, I'm guessing, not joining us today. We are, other than being Power Ranger fans, we're Super Sentai fans. And if you never watched Super Sentai, we urge you, please, you're missing out. I mean, go watch Super
Mm-hmm.
Sentai. Uh, the stories are incredible. The action's incredible. Of course, you watch Power Rangers. All the action, the fight scenes is basically borrowed footage from Super Sentai. Uh, Great all around. Sentai's been around since 1975, so
Yep.
it's a while actually. So we're going to properly place Super Sentai. I hope that we don't put any of them in franchise ending. I would hate to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to respectfully put this in a different tier, and we're going to explain why we put it there.
Yep. So, with that being said, you guys, so so myself, you know, Jeremy, Mr. Fun Guy, as well as Jerry, J3D, you know, we've been diehard Power Rangers fans since, you know, we could walk, we could talk, we could, you know, realize what's going on around us, and it's been the basis of every episode we've done for. And I know we constantly repeat ourselves when it comes to that, but we want to make you guys understand that why we're doing what we're doing. Okay, we're not just doing this just for the fun of it. I mean, yes, is it fun? Yes. You know, we love to see you guys' comments and, you know, your guys' opinions on what you feel, how you would rank everything, right? But when me and Jeremy go back and forth with this, you're getting two separate opinions for a series, whether it be, you know, Rangers, whether it be actual series, whether it be Battleizers, whether it be Megazords, you know, whatever. We're doing it for you guys, right? Because your guys' opinions could be something different for us. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we're doing this for you guys. You know, so like my buddy Jeremy said, you know, we're going straight back from 1975 since day one of Super Sentai. Okay. Now, forgive us if we mispronounce the names. Okay. We're gonna try our best not to butcher them, but we're gonna be ranking these off of, you know, power. We're gonna be ranking these off of nostalgia, storyline. You know, um, different things. So I want to clear something up. Okay,
Yep.
Sentai is different from Power Rangers. Okay,
Way
Power
different.
Rangers is an American version of Sentai. This is basically the original OG versions of Power Rangers. Okay, how we rank these is going to be different versus how we rank Power Rangers. Okay, Power Rangers didn't pick up Super Sentai until 1993. Okay, so with that being said, you guys, if you guys go back to our recent video or a couple of videos ago where we ranked all the Power Ranger series, right? Some of you were like, oh, you know, I would have ranked Z and God tier or, you know, S tier, whatever. This is going to be different. So if you guys only know them by their American names, then that's different. You know, that's fine, right? But I would highly recommend you watch the Super Sentais, which you guys can if you guys go to download the app called Tubi, Tubi, right? You guys can download that app and you guys can actually watch the Sentais, and you'll understand why we're talking. Okay.
Now, just because we're doing this out of respect of where Power Rangers first came from.
Yep.
And I did not know Super Sentai was a thing because when we were kids, we thought Power Rangers was the first thing ever of its kind on TV.
Oh yeah.
Until I got to Lost Galaxy, I knew there was a Sentai. And when I went back and watched all the Sentais, Bioman, Jetman, Fireman, I was blown away. Like the story is like on point, the action's on point, and just because we're doing this does not. I've been called a purist, a Sentai purist, Power Ranger purist, because I watch both. I enjoy both equally. Does
Yep.
not make us purists. We both like the shows Power Rangers and Super Sentai out of respect for the franchise. Okay. Um, we talk a lot about Power Rangers. I mean, our past episodes, yes, we mix it up. Marvel, DC, video games, we do a lot. But we try to keep the same path moving forward with Power Rangers. But something that we rarely get to do is talk strictly all Super Sentai.
Yeah. So we're not purist, right? We don't expect everything to be the same as the Sentais. right? We want it to make it make sense. Okay?
Yes.
So if you're gonna take a show, like you can pick out of the 30 odd shows or however many shows there are right here, right? And take an adaptation of it and make a version of your own, then by all
Mhm.
means, we're not telling you to copy every single
No,
thing. You
no,
don't have to. But if you're gonna change things about it, okay, fine. That's fine. But don't say, hey, it's all original. That's like you taking a
it's
song,
not.
remixing it, and then calling it original. It's not original. Okay.
Now, I think what you're are you referring to Cosmic Fury with the whole originality thing?
So, man. Um, sorry, bro.
Okay,
I'm drawing a
I mean
fucking blank.
it's okay. I mean I'm drawing a blank too. That was an awesome shout out. I can't get over that.
Yeah, dude.
But we will be ranking Super Sentai, and we're getting our explanation why we put it there.
Yep.
And like I said, I don't want to put any of this in franchise ending, which is like F, which is the worst upon worst, which
Mm-hmm.
still to this day the worst thing ever created. I don't want to do that because every one of the Sentais holds a special place in my heart. Now Power Rangers, that's totally different. Okay, there's a few
True.
seasons that belong in Rita's dumpster, uh, but the Sentai itself, none of these to me, none of these Sentais should be worse than their counterparts. There's no way.
Yeah. Shouldn't be. But who knows? Maybe we'll have to compare notes from, the previous episode we did and see where everything falls. Who
But
knows?
now when we
Maybe
do
we'll
this,
do a reaction to that.
yeah, but when we do this, if you guys have a different opinion than us, that's awesome. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
We will never, as content creators, we will never dismiss your claims. We will never dismiss your opinions. We love a good fashion debate, a good fashion
Mm-hmm.
argument. At the end of the day, this is how we feel the Zeonizer podcast and our based opinions. We can all be friends and not agree.
True. Oh, very true. So, without further ado, you guys, we're gonna jump straight into it. Um,
No,
I mean, once this video has been uploaded, if you guys want to skip ahead to your favorite Sentais and everything, by all means, go ahead and do that. Um, if you've never watched Super Sentai, again, I encourage you guys to go to tubi.com or download the app and watch the Super Sentais. It's completely free. Yes, you have some ads, but the ads are like 15, 20 seconds long. So,
shit. If you grew up in the '90s, I mean, come on, now. You can watch a minute ad or a few second ads compared to the 6 commercials, 7 commercials we have in the '90s.
yeah, that's a valid point. So, definitely recommend you guys go and watch it. It's very cool, very awesome, um, and it'll make sense on why we rank it the way that we do. So, without
Yes.
further ado, let's jump into the first one,
Okay.
which I can't even pronounce that, so I'm not even gonna try. So, Jeremy, if you would do the honors, my good man.
It's so nice you can rely on me.
I know somebody has to.
Okay, it's kind of like Go Ranger, but it's Go Ranger. So it's Himitsu Go Ranger. So 1975 to 1977.
Yep.
This was the longest season ever. 84 episodes.
That's
Okay.
record breaking.
Yes. Super Sentai was not yet an established brand, but this Go Ranger's success was allowed to the franchise to expand in the following decades. So this was the landmark. This is what got it started.
Yep. They
Now,
walked so that way everyone else can run.
yes, yes. I think Ranger follows the Earth Guard League, aka Eagle. Okay, they fight a terrorist group known as the Black Cross Army, led by the Black Cross Führer.
Mm-hmm.
They have superhuman strength, speed, and it had all the mixtures of what a Sentai and a Power Ranger and a soon-to-be Power Ranger show should have been.
Yep.
Now, I'm not. I really don't want to see this adapted in Power Rangers. It'd be god awful. I hate to say that, but it will be. But I cannot, for the life of me, give the grandfather, the person, the team that created Sentai and the Power Ranger name anything lower than God. So it's automatically God tier.
Yeah, I respect that. I mean, if you were to watch it now, you'd be like, "Oh man, this is so cheesy." Like, "Oh, dude, those lines are so corny and stuff." But keep in mind, you guys, this came out in 1975. So while everybody else was watching classic cartoons, this was Japan's classic cartoon. I mean, they still speak about it today, you know,
Yep.
because of how
And
classic
I, yeah,
it is.
and I want to say this. I thought about this. The Ginyu Force from Dragon Ball Z, I guarantee you watched Sentai before they became warriors. Okay? I guarantee you.
You made a very valid point, bro. Um, if you look carefully on how they're posing, that's Ginyu Force.
Damn near. Mm-hmm.
A couple of tweaks here and there, but that's Ginyu Force.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. All right, man. I think this one is JAKQ. Gagin. I have trouble with this one. Gengetia, 1977. Now, you can correct me. It's a fine.
Mm-hmm.
This one, usually we have
it has JQ.
Yeah, JQ. Figures. This one, we have Jack, Ace, King, and Queen.
Yeah.
Basically from playing cards. Enhanced cybernetically given abilities such as X-ray vision by the Japanese government.
Yep.
And I believe most Sentai seasons start off with 3 and 5. This was the first to start off as 4. Believe it or not. I follow this one as much as I possibly could. It's kind of cool. They're named after playing cards, and their helmets are so sick. Some of the most one of the most iconic helmets in Sentai history. The spade, the club, the diamond, so on and so forth. I'm gonna give this one a legendary, in my opinion.
Yeah, legendary for me. It's pretty accurate. I mean, it's still very classic. You know, I could watch this entire Sentai over and over again. It does not matter.
Yes.
It was the first time that we actually got to see, though, a special ranger.
Mm-hmm.
So, because, as Jeremy stated, this was the first Sentai, well, basically the second Sentai out of, all of them, but when it first came out, was the first time that we've actually ever seen a superhero team that only started with 4 people.
Yep.
Until the later years, right? That's when you got introduced to the 5th Ranger, which then in turn to essentially be the Special Ranger. So there's that. You said legendary, right?
It's legendary.
Yep. So it's not quite god tier because there are some issues with it. There was a couple of things I didn't like about it, mainly just there were a lot of plot holes in the storylines, right? Again, this is 1977, so a lot of it really didn't make sense. Still a very, very good Sentai, though.
Yes. And that brings us to another good one. Battle Fever J, 1979 to 1980. Okay. I told David this, and He was shocked when I told him this. Battle Fever J was a joint effort between Toei Animation and Marvel. Okay. Yes, Marvel had its hands in the Super Sentai. You can at me all you want. You can Google it. I don't lie when I talk about Sentai. Okay. Shortly after Battle Fever J, the same two, Toei and Marvel, co-produced a Spider-Man series that followed robots fighting in a monster format. So Battle Fever J, besides that, Battle Fever J, if you never heard Battle Fever J, it's got the same superhero concept. Okay. Kind of like the United Nations of sorts. You had Battle France, Battle Cossack, which is Soviet Union at that time, Battle Kenya, and Miss America, America, US, and Battle Japan. And it was the first Sentai series to include mechs. This Sentai series was the game changer. So this was when Megazords started. So the Megazords we have today was because of Battle Fever J. Instant legendary.
Yeah, plus this is the first time that we've actually ever seen somebody from a Sentai actually die.
That too.
Because, again, you have to watch it, but Miss America, which is kind of messed up when you think about it now.
Miss America was hilarious, though.
Yes, she was. Miss America, the original character who plays Miss America, the actor didn't die, but in the storyline, the person who plays Miss America actually passes it on to her younger sister, who then later dies. So it was the first time that we actually got to see an actual death on screen and let it know that, just because you're a superhero doesn't necessarily mean that you're invincible. You do have the ability to die. So, very cool. I mean, the outfits were corny as hell, but they were funny, right? It was the first time that we've actually ever seen a female Sentai or female group, right? Or a female ranger. Sorry, kind of dressed that way with the whole wig and everything like that. They made it outrageous because, and not a lot of people know this, but when they casted for Miss America, they were making fun of Americans at that time because of the whole beauty pageants and stuff.
Yeah.
That's why the way she acts and everything like that is outrageous. It's like over the top. They're making fun of it. They're making fun of America at that time, but it's still a very good Sentai. Okay.
You can't sit there. Okay. Like David said, they were making fun of Miss America, but half the time, majority of the Americans that watch the pageant, they make fun of the people who are in it. So I mean, at this was before cancel culture. This was before how everyone was getting feelings hurt left and right. They did it out of sheer comedy, and Battle Fever J, there's a lot of comedy in it. And it was funny. Even Cossack, which is the Soviet Union, he has some good parts. But this is Sentai. This was back in the late 70s, so it's going to happen.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. So, I mean, for me, it's still pretty legendary itself. I love it all. I mean, it makes you laugh to the point where it hurts to laugh, and it has some good action points. I mean, the first time we actually get to see mechs introduced is also a big thing.
Yes, instant legendary. Yep.
And like Jeremy said, I didn't know it was sponsored by Marvel.
It was a collaboration of Toei Animation and Marvel. Not many people, like if I told fans in the Power Rangers who would watch Power Rangers, not Super Sentai, they would instantly call me a liar. They would instantly say you're making that up. No, I'm not. They actually made a collaboration, and since it did so well, they went and made a Spider-Man, the two of them. So that's why Spider-Man has a Super Sentai appearance. That's why.
Yep.
But we're gonna move on. Battle Fever J is a good one. I would recommend you guys check it out. It does not disappoint.
True.
Next one I believe is Denzei Man,
Yes.
1980 to 1981. How do you feel about this one, David?
Denzey Man.
You remember watching this one?
Yeah, I remember watching it. So.
Scarves.
Yeah. It had its good points.
Yeah.
And it had its bad points.
Yeah.
For me, it was average, just because like Sentai did so well with the first three, and they were trying to build up the hype for it. You know, not to take it away of how good it was, but to me, it just had more. Like I would put it, the lowest I would put it is average, but the highest that I would put it is great.
Okay. I love Sentai so much that I've done studies. I've looked into everything. Most people don't realize Denzey Man was one of the most successful Super Sentai series in Japan. So successful, it led to being showed and broadcast in other countries such as Thailand. So this was the first Sentai series that was broadcast other than Japan. It was the beginning of the Super Sentai globalization. So I wouldn't put it average. I would put it as great, because if it did not have good success, because the next three were awesome. Well, two, excuse me. But because of this Sentai, other countries were able to see Super Sentai as a whole. So I would say this is pretty great, because it got its name out there faster than the last couple.
That is true. That is true. They started building a world phenomenon, because they started becoming a world phenomenon because of it. So,
yes.
Like I said, for me, there were some low points and some high points. Highest I would give it would be great. Lowest was average. You agreed on great, so great is where it goes. The next one is Sun Vulcan from 1981 to 1982.
Oh,
you can go ahead and take your first take on that one.
Like Sun Vulcan, I didn't hate Sun Vulcan. It's a sequel. It serves as a sequel to Denzey Man. Okay, and it is the only Super Sentai sequel series to date. They say it was the first show to feature rangers associated with the elements, the air, land, water, and it will repeat itself in the Sun Vulcan was the first. Sun Vulcan was the first series to feature only male rangers. That's right. No women. It was all male rangers. Okay, it had about 49, 50 episodes. Okay. It was just cringe. Oh, God. I'm going to put Sun Vulcan at average, because the fact that it was all guys, and I believe they had scarves in this one.
Sun Vulcan, no.
They looked like they didn't have scarves, really?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not Sun Vulcan. I know which one you're thinking of, but it's not this one. So Sun Vulcan for me. Okay. Not only was it all male. Yeah, I agree with the average. Okay. Sun Vulcan. It's all male, which is fine. That part doesn't really bother me. There was only 3 rangers. For the entire 50 episode, there was only 3 rangers. And on top of that, there were the 3 primary colors. Red, yellow, blue. No specialty rangers, no extra rangers, nothing. Their mech was also very simple.
Yes.
As powerful as it was, Still very simple. I mean, storyline was decent. It was okay. It wasn't really great. I mean, again, still trying to build up off the hype of Denji Man, right? Still becoming a world phenomenon because at this time, Sentai is now starting to be casted across the globe from Japan to Thailand. I believe also in the Philippines. They also started casting it around this time because this is 1981. So this is the 80s. So, you know, you have other cartoons and stuff like that are being broadcasted, but this as well. So it's average. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. It was just enough to get by.
That brings us to, I believe, the sixth series, Sentai series, which would be
Fifth.
Guy Goggle V, which is 1982 to 1983.
Yeah.
This, okay, this was the last show that had the Nick scars. That's right. This was the last show. Now that I think about it, and some would say, I think this was end of an era. I think they said. No, I'm too ahead of myself here.
Yep.
Okay. It's the sixth Super Sentai series.
Fifth.
No, it's the sixth.
Unless you're counting something twice, it's only the fifth.
Well, no, Dai Sentai Goggle V is the sixth Sentai series.
So remember, the first Super Sentai went on for 2 years.
Mhm.
So maybe sixth in the series, but only fifth as in new Sentais.
Okay. Okay. I would have to give this one an average, to be honest. I watched maybe about 10 episodes of Goggle V and I turned it off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, everything was there. I mean, you had some slapstick moments. I mean, okay, Sentai's got a lot of slapstick moments. Okay. A lot of good action sequences. It just, to me, it felt like it wasn't all there. Yes, the whole plot was Dark Science Empire Death Dark, who makes attempt to conquer the world. Science lab. I know it was I forgot the name of the science lab. It was a science lab who recruits 5 exceptional individuals to form Goggle V.
Yeah.
Goggle 5. Blech. Goggle 5. Damn it, Google's in my head. Well, yeah, watch us say, "Hey Google." Damn it. No. Oh wait. Okay. I won't say average on this point. I mean, I didn't like it, but I didn't hate it. I only got to 10 episodes and I just stopped.
Okay, so I actually watched it about more than halfway through. Um, it's average. Okay, you didn't really miss much.
No.
They are the first and only Super Sentai to have scarves. Sorry, second Super Sentai. Because Jack Q was the first to have scarves.
Yep.
And then this one was the second to have scarves. And then it stopped after that. Because they realized that scarves on a Power Ranger outfit is not a fashion choice. Okay? It's a mistake. Alright. That being said, it is average. And just take us at our word on that one. Or you don't have to, and then go watch it yourselves. And then comment on why you agree or disagree.
I think the next one, I would say, is a good one. This was Dynaman. I think Dynaman was badass. I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
Dynaman was a originally slated to be a baseball theme Sentai, but ended up being more science themed, like a storytelling science theme. Follow 5 teenagers who transform into Dynamen, thanks to an invention of Dr. I can't pronounce his name. Kaitario Yamino, I think his name was. If I butchered that name, I'm so sorry. And I'm putting this legendary. Okay, not so much God tier, but I'm gonna say legendary because this was the first Super Sentai to make waves in the United States. Somewhere, I have not found it yet. So if you guys can find it for me and send it my way, I will love you forever. There's 6 episodes. It's a parody dub, but 6 episodes that aired on USA Network under the name Dynaman. I can't seem to find it anywhere. So since it didn't make waves in the US way before Mighty Morphin, it's got to be a legendary. This is when US got its first taste of Super Sentai.
Yeah, so where are we gonna rank it? Because I don't want to rank it nothing less than legendary.
Legendary.
So Dynaman was a dope Sentai. It was very
It
clean.
is.
It was very cut and dry, right? Baseball theme, so first time we've ever seen a sports theme. Because everything else either had been like an animal, it had been kind of random, cards, countries. Um, I mean, it's just been different. Um, so plus their mech was pretty dope. Their Megazord
Yes.
was pretty dope. So
Yes, it
I
was.
liked it. It's very legendary. Not quite god tier. It wasn't really that
The next
perfect.
one, the next one, I guarantee you, is a god tier.
Was that on Bioman?
Bioman.
Yeah. So Bioman is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jeremy, but Bioman came out in 1984, and it was the
Yes.
first Sentai up to this point that had a simple morphing sequence.
Not only that, it was the first time that had 2 female rangers.
Ooh, you right on
Two
that one.
female rangers. Bioman was the first one to have 2 female rangers, and here's the thing: it was not for America. Okay, Bioman was more or less marketed to the Philippines. Okay,
Yep.
all right. I love the storyline. Descendants of people who have been in contact with bioparticles that gave them the ability to transform into biomen. So my daughter, my oldest daughter, I was watching this, and they got to the first morphing sequence, and I will never forget. She walked in. She goes, "Daddy, what are you watching?" So I'm watching Bioman. She goes, "Daddy, it looks like Daft Punk is Power Rangers." Because if you look at their helmets, the Red Ranger and the Green Ranger and the Blue Ranger look like someone from Daft Punk.
Yeah. So
So it's
yeah,
instant
let
god tier for
god
me.
tier, instant god tier.
Instant.
I agree. Their mech was dope, right? Powerful as
Mhm.
all hell. First time we've ever seen two female rangers on the same show that weren't replacements. Let me clarify that were not replacements. 2 separate rangers. Okay. Morphing sequence was simple but yet dope, and it didn't take 5 minutes to morph.
But I would never understand the marketing decision behind this. Even though it was for the Philippines, this was the
Mm-hmm.
first Sentai to be translated into English, but never available for America.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
But
Um,
still god tier in my opinion.
yeah, it still got here.
Mhm.
What's next?
Change Man.
Change Man. Uh, I've watched the bits and pieces of this one, so I'm gonna go based off your recommendation.
Okay. This is the second longest Super Sentai series, reaching about 55 episodes.
Okay.
And showcase rangers inspired by mythical animals from folklore such as dragons, Pegasus, mermaids. Um, James Mermaid was the first female I almost said Power Ranger, first female ranger to wear white. Okay.
Ooh.
Yes, a tradition that would repeat on different occasions.
Mhm.
Um, Even though Changeman used they did use many references in European folklore. It was never broadcasted outside of Asia. So since we had the success of other Sentais in other countries,
Mhm.
Asia didn't want to risk anything for broadcasting this outside of Asia. Uh, so Changeman, in my opinion, says they didn't want to fully incorporate more globalization for the other countries, surrounding countries. This was a good series. I'm not gonna lie, it really was. Um, it could it could have been a legendary, even got tier, but I will put this under great.
Yeah. Um, it was the first time that we've actually seen a Sentai, from what I remember. Right. Again,
Mhm.
I've watched bits and pieces, so maybe a total of maybe like 10 to 15 episodes out of the 55 that it had. So not a significant amount. Again, bits and pieces, but they are the first Sentai up till now that uses horoscopes and no,
Yes.
not horoscopes.
No.
Astrology. Sorry,
Yes.
astrology. It's the first time that we've ever seen that. So kudos to them because they wanted to go in a different direction, and it worked for the most part. It was still a very big hit in Japan and Asia and China and everything like that, but because it wasn't that big of a hit, it was never be able to cross that barrier of being a worldwide phenomenon. So, um, sucks,
Okay.
but they're above average because they are pretty cool. Again, their mech was pretty awesome. Um, their morphing sequence was a little weird, but them being based off of
Yeah.
astrology, the stars, and everything, that kind of makes up for it a little bit. Not by much, but at least by a little bit. So, next we have 1986, Flashman.
Flashman. Believe it or not, this Sentai blew up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I say blew up, this one aired in different countries. Flashman was dubbed in Spanish, Portuguese, Ecuador, Bolivia, Peru, Brazil, but it did not reach the US. So much good potential, all those countries. I mean, don't get me wrong. Okay. I'm happy that those countries got to experience Flashman. Just kind of sad that I couldn't experience it until like way past SPD. When I watched SPD, when I found Flashman,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give this legendary, in my opinion. Uh, the characters were descended from aliens. Other Sentais were descended from aliens. This series, the heroes were human beings who didn't grow up on Earth under different circumstances. So that gave it a good story of them with teamwork issues. Um, I like the mech. Mech was awesome. Mech was fast transforming, and it was simple. So with Flashman, I gotta go with Legendary. And plus, it ended my birth year.
Yeah. The only thing that I didn't like about Flashman was their so-called special powers.
Yeah,
Right? It was just basically blocks for hands or prisms for hands, like depending on what color you were. But it was basically just shapes for hands, and then you would hit the person really hard. That
yeah,
was just kind of stupid, in my opinion. Okay. Um, Again, technology based in the 80s, didn't really know what to do with it. Fine, but other than that, still pretty dope. Megazord's pretty dope. Again, this is the second or third time that we've seen two female rangers
Yep.
You know, in a Ranger series, 2 separate colors, right? Um, Different fighting styles too. To be honest
Yep.
with you, different martial arts fighting styles. Up to this point, there was only very few. I think Sun Vulcan was one, as well as um, Changeman was another one that had different fighting styles.
Hmm.
Um, so this was the third Sentai up till now that had different fighting styles, which I thought was very cool.
True.
So the next one is, I believe,
Mask Man.
Mask Man. Thank you. I was about to say Flashman, but I was like, we're already talking about Flashman.
Flashman Season 2 coming to your theater near you.
Yeah. So Mask Man.
Mask Man.
This one was different martial arts styles, which was again
Also,
very cool.
they had their own mech that could combine with others to create an even bigger robot.
That is also true.
Mm-hmm.
So they each had their own individual.
This
I
had
forgot about that.
success in both Japan and Korea, Brazil, the Philippines, and France. It lasted
Okay.
51 episodes, but still just shows every Sentai series that was, crawling against the boundaries and just crawling and crawling and crawling. Other than Changeman, that's the only thing that didn't, the Sentai series that didn't expand. But other than Changeman, they're slowly, and ladies and gentlemen, we're in 1987, 1988. We're only a few years from 1993. We all know what came out in 1993. So slowly, they're making their way to the U.S. Other than Dynaman, okay.
Yeah.
Dynaman was more of a dub, more like a parody, kind of making fun of it. But Mask Man, I would have to say, I like the fight styles, the different martial arts that they had. Each had their own mech, which could combine with others to create an even bigger robot. Was popular in multiple countries other than Japan. It had a good episode, around 51 episodes, instant god tier.
Yeah. And I believe I might be thinking of the next one, but I believe this was when the Sentais went back to only having one female on the team.
You're talking about Live Man, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This was the first show we had a blue female ranger, though.
Yes, that is true.
Okay.
So, as far as Mask Man goes, it is god tier. It is pretty dope. It's awesome.
Yes.
Go watch it if you're able to. I believe you can watch episodes for free on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
There may be snippets here and there, but you'll be able to watch it, and you'll understand why we rank it as such. The next one, 1988.
1988, 1989 would be Live Man.
Yeah.
Let's see, first female blue female ranger.
Yep.
That's awesome because that was majority a male color.
Yep.
Just like Cosmic Fury coming out this fall, be the first ever female full series Red Ranger, which is awesome, by the way.
Yep.
This was the first to use animal-themed mechs. We had Red Falcon, Yellow Lion, Blue Dolphin, Black Bison, and Green Rhino. This did kind of have a dark feel to it to me. I mean, I would put this as legendary, not so much God, but legendary, because I say that for a reason. But in the show, the Green Ranger the Green Rhino Ranger, which originally was impregnated by one of the villains, which led her to consider an abortion. Which in a lighthearted show, abortion in a children's show, it was a very controversial moment.
Yeah.
You know what
I had forgot about that. Yeah, I had forgot about that.
So actually, now that I'm thinking about it, if it didn't have, if it didn't have, not that the abortion is bad. Fully support pro-choice. I fully support it.
Yep.
But to have that in a children's show, and it just rubs me all the wrong way. It's still a great show because it brought the wild animal mix, the first ever. I can't give it anything lower than a great or anything above a great. I'm gonna say a great in my opinion, but it all depends on what you think, bro.
No, I agree. I had forgot about that until you mentioned it, and then I remember the exact episode of when it happened. I was replaying it in my head as it happened. That was just terrible. That should not have been in a children's episode, in a children's show. Period.
So I'm so glad cancel culture wasn't around then. Since I would have gotten
Yeah,
canceled instantly.
yeah. Um,
Oh
but
God.
but this is the first time we've ever seen a Black Ranger and a Green Ranger share the screen.
Yes,
Because up
exactly.
until this point, it's always been flip flop. One season it'll be a Black Ranger, one season it'll be a Green Ranger, and then switching back and
Yeah,
forth. Um,
yeah.
and then also seeing a Blue Ranger as a female. So again, up until this point, pink or white has been the basis for female colors. Why? Have
Yes.
no idea. So they were breaking boundaries again with this. And then we switched back to Yellow Ranger being a male, which
Yes.
has been for previous seasons. So, which is fine. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
Um, so pretty dark for a children's show.
Yep.
I'm very surprised that this was actually shown in the Philippines and Japan, in Brazil. I think also in France and I believe Europe as well.
I think you're correct.
So I'm surprised it got the world
Green
that
light.
like the green light that it did. Unless they cut out some of those episodes, which if they did, smart choice. If they didn't, because we know Japan, it's not necessarily censored like we are in the United States, so they'll show
Yeah.
certain things and have it have an educational meaning behind it. But as far as like how we've stated, we're both pro-choice, pro-life. It's your body. You do what the fuck you want with it. It does not matter. Um, but having that for a children's episode in a children's show, that's kind of crossing the line, big time. So, yeah, great. Mechs were cool. Animals, being introduced and adapted, like going forward, dope. Um, just super dark for a children's
But
show.
if it didn't have that story, if it didn't have that plot about what happened, it would be a god tier, no question
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, definitely.
So the next one, we're gonna step out of the darkness, step back into the light again.
Yep.
Turbo Ranger. Okay, 1989, 1999. Now, when we say Turbo Ranger, we're not talking about Power Rangers Turbo. That's
Yep.
Car Ranger. That's coming up real soon.
Yep.
This is Turbo Ranger. Okay, this one actually made more sense than Power Rangers Turbo. I'm not lying when I say this. Okay, it was the first series of the High Sea area. I think I pronounced that right.
Yep.
It was less successful than its predecessor. Um, it featured Power Rangers by magic, powered by fairy magic. Excuse me. Every ranger was a high schooler, so this was a Sentai that established itself as teenagers with attitude. Okay.
True.
This franchise, this particular show was started to lean toward a younger demographic. The Zords, to me, were kind of clunky, kind of um, very bulky, almost as bulky as the Turbo Megazord. That's just
Yeah.
that's saying something. I didn't really care for the storyline, although it made more sense in Turbo. Uh, I'm gonna go with great on this one.
Yeah. I mean, as good as it was, I mean, it was car based. It was pretty decent. Megazord, as powerful as it was just too bulky. It didn't make sense. Um, I can't really find good things to say about it. So moving on.
Okay,
What's
so
next?
next up we have 5 Men. This was 90. This is the first Sentai in the 90s. New decade.
Mm-hmm.
And we're getting close, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting close to Mighty Morphin. Stay with us. 5 Men, believe it or not, I told David and I told Jerry this. They didn't believe me until they looked it up themselves. 5 Men
Yep.
was the probably worst Sentai ever. I only say that because 5 Men got poor ratings in both toy sales and show. Toei chose to continue the franchise after revamping it for the Power Rangers. But
Yep.
okay, it has five high school, but not schoolers, 5 high school teachers at Newtown Elementary School. It's just what the school is called.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they fight against a galactic imperial army led by Empress Meadow and Captain Garua. I think I pronounced that right. I liked the Megazord. The Megazord was dope. I enjoyed it. I don't understand what kids were thinking in this day and age. I thought it slapped. I liked the suits. I liked the visors, the helmets, just the weapons, everything. But since it didn't do so well, and Toei did not give up on the franchise and just continued it, I'm gonna give this one a great.
See, you're being more generous than me, man. I would have given this an average. Um, this is the one and only Sentai that is music based.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So if you've never watched this, which unless you're Power Rangers Die Hard or Super Sentai Die Hard, you wouldn't have watched it. To be honest with you guys, okay?
I
They are
forgot
high
about.
school teachers, elementary school teachers, right? They're all based off of music, the sound of music, essentially, right?
I
Each
hate
one
that
has a
song.
different. I know. Me too. Each person has a different ability that surrounds music based. However, their main weapon that they all use is a freaking ribbon that they
Oh,
make music from.
but that was kind of cool though. I mean, unless. Oh wait, I guess I'm the fruit here because I thought that was kind of cool.
Look, I have a wife who, my wife, she was in color guard, so she did with the whole ribbons and everything like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you don't want to be, as a villain, you don't want to get your ass kicked from somebody in red spandex with a ribbon that's playing you classical music. Just saying.
Yeah. Okay. So where we're gonna put 5 Men? I said great, and you said average. We have to come to an agreement here. This is where the tiers come. We have to be able to agree to put this somewhere. So what do you think?
Hmm. Now that's the question.
Okay, let's look at this. Okay,
Okay. Talk to
it
me.
did it did poor in the ratings.
Yes.
Okay, it did focus on music base, so I would think that they were trying to teach the children that music and all the musical notes and everything else. But you can't lie that this does have a lot of nostalgia feels. Like if you were to go back right now and you would watch 5-man all over again. There will be something in there that will remind you of your childhood. Okay?
Damn you.
So let's.
All right, great it
Let's
is.
make this great.
Damn you! I hate when you use logic. You're worse than my wife.
Hey, wait, what?
All right, Jetman.
Except I don't tell people to suck my testicles.
That is very true.
Okay.
Jetman.
Jetman is the shiznit. Okay. First of all, inspired by Gotcha Man. Okay. Jetman marked the end of an era. This was the series before Mighty Morphin, ladies and gentlemen. And the series that will never get a counterpart because it's deemed too dark.
Very true.
It was the last series I think it had Power Rangers counterpart, as I said. Too dark to be adapted because one of the core Rangers died. Okay. A Ranger death hasn't happened in Super Sentai show since. Until we get to Barai. Okay. That's another story. Okay. Greatest Green Ranger ever. I said what I said. And Jetman is, oh my God. I love the theme. I love the mech. I love the suits. And some people say that maybe we should enlist Jetman to save the Power Ranger seasons because of where it's leading to now. But because it had a Ranger death, and because the story was so dark, this story was okay. Whenever I say this, y'all thought RPM was dark. You need to go watch Jetman. Like,
yeah,
Jetman,
but it was amazing though.
It was amazing, bro. It was. I can't give this anything lower than God. I am not worthy. I am not worthy. I am not worthy. This is an instant God tier.
Yeah. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the only Sentai that is animal based, but they share the same animal.
You are correct.
So if you guys aren't sure what we're talking about, Jetman is the only one that has the abilities of a falcon, right? Jetbird, basically a bird-like creature. Okay, they all share the same abilities. They all don the falcon ensemble on their chest, right, as well as on their helmet, which is why you see the beak on all their helmets. They are the only Sentai to share that. Everything else up to this point has been different animals or different variations, right, of each other. So, yes. Dope. Very, very dope. Came out in 1991, lasted up until 1992, and was just amazing. Okay?
Amazing. Yep.
Very modernized. Didn't really have to, like, travel back in time or anything like that. I still wish that it had an American adaptation to it, because that would have kicked off Power Rangers way faster than what it did now. And it sucks because when Ham Saban came to the States and pitched this idea, he pitched it with Jetman.
Yes, he did.
And the producers at that time, and you know, they had every right to.
Yeah.
Had agreed that it was too dark to be a children's show. Cool. Yeah. He was alright, you know what? That's fine. Let me go back because Ham Saban was a big Sentai fan. He had watched everything since the first time it came out till then. So for the last 15 odd years, he has been watching nothing but Super Sentai. And he's been wanting, as a producer of his own, to be able to adapt a version of Super Sentai. That's what he always wanted. And he wanted to do that with Jetman. But the producer shot him down because of how dark the TV show was. But still, very awesome. The next one, though...
Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached it. We reached your precious Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the OG But here's the thing: it's not Mighty Morphin; it is Zeoranger.
Yep.
Okay, this was the shit. Okay, this was not your teenager's attitude. This was humans who evolved from dinosaurs, not a group of teenagers. Okay, this made more sense in retrospect, more sense than Mighty Morphin. Okay, this gave more detailed story of how they came to be about. Okay, it featured prehistoric animals that hasn't been forgotten, and the way they morph is just iconic. Okay, the Dino Megazord, can't forget about the Dino Megazord, the OG of all Megazords.
Yep.
The story of Bandora, Bandora Witch that we all know as Rita, which, by the way, can't wait for April 19th. I keep saying that, but I can't wait.
9 more days.
Yeah, 9 more days. And then April 20th, we hit it off with Grimm. For those Mighty Morphin fans, if you've not seen Zeoranger, you are missing out on story. Tell them, David, story gold. I'm telling you.
It's so perfect.
It is.
It's God tier before we get anything further. It's God tier. I don't give a fuck. It's God tier.
Instant.
Okay. This is the first time in a Sentai series that we've seen the team be made up of different clans from feudal Japan.
Yes.
Now, as modern as they are, as modernized as they are, okay, these clans come from areas in Japan that are still repping the old school way back in the 1700s. Because as you guys watch it, when they are no longer morphed, right, when they are out of their ranger suits, they are in feudal Japan era type of clothing. Okay.
Yes.
When I tell you, when they introduced Burai, it was perfect.
It was beyond perfect, man. It was heavenly. I'm not
It was
religious.
just so amazing.
I'm not a religious person, but it was heavenly. Like,
man,
bro, perfection. Just like chef kiss. And it was just, oh my God. Even though, yes, spoiler alert, if you have not watched Zeoranger, skip ahead about 45 seconds. Burai sadly dies. His brother was the Red Ranger. And the way he put, oh my God, David, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the way he played that flute, I cried my eyes out, bro. Like I said, we've said this is an instant God tier. You can add us all you want. You can argue with us all you want. It will remain God tier because it was the reason why we had Mighty Morphin. This was the show. This is a Sentai. As Saban said, that's it. It's not really dark, besides Burai's death, which in turn, in Mighty Morphin, Tommy loses his powers.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was ingenious because I was worried that they weren't going to show that.
Mm-hmm.
But as a kid, I didn't know Sentai was a thing until Lost Galaxy. So I'm thinking back in the past, like, oh my God, what if they weren't going to show that because of Burai? Then I realized that's why Tommy lost his powers. Saban, ingenious, that's the genius he is. So let's make him lose his powers. Sad as it was, Green Ranger was everyone's favorite Ranger. Don't sit there and say he wasn't, because you're a liar if you said he's not. Lost his powers, and yes, Burai was a fan favorite in the Super Sentai. And those action sequence, bro, Zeoranger set the bar with those action sequences. You can't lie.
No. I can't, dude. It's, oh man, just, it's so perfect. The other thing I want to point out is that this is the first time that the Sentai's Megazords were given a personality. Now, remember when Burai was introduced, and Geki, I believe that's his name. I don't want to fuck it up.
Mhm.
Had realized that Burai was his brother. He didn't want to fight him. Who would?
Yes. Right.
The Dino Megazord blasted Geki and said, "You fight him, or you die." Straight
Right.
up. Like, when I watched that, I had to pause it and be like, "Hold up, you gonna threaten me, bro? Like, you a damn robot.
I
I have
control
to
you,
control
motherfucker.
you.
Yes.
You can't tell me what to do."
Yeah.
Right? I had that initial reaction, and to me, I laughed because I was like, "Damn, this is pretty funny." Okay,
Right.
so
Mhm.
badass. I mean, oh, it
Bro,
was just so amazing.
this brings back nostalgia like
Hmm.
no other. Because, like I said, when I got to Lost Galaxy, I rewatched Sentai, and when I got to Zoo Ranger, I was like, "Wait, that's Mighty Morphin." You know what? Mighty Morphin, Mighty Morphin's the best. Nothing can beat Mighty Morphin. I watched Zoo Ranger, bro. Oh my god! I was like, okay, what am I missing? Like, why wasn't this here? And then I was so confused, and bro, it just I may rewatch it come PMC. Hell, just for the hell of it. Um, but let's move past. Let's move on. We have, ladies and gentlemen, we have David's favorite season, if I'm not mistaken. This is Die Ranger, correct? So we're into Die Ranger, correct?
Die Ranger, bro, hands down my favorite Sentai, and I'll get into it why, but to me, it's God tier.
Okay,
But I'll
so yeah,
let
I agree with you. It's
you.
God. I agree with you 100%. Even though Die Ranger should have been season 2 Power Rangers. Okay, season
Yes.
2 is when they got into the Thunder Rangers, the Thunder abilities. Now, like I said, I didn't get into Lost Galaxy. It made perfect sense to me. But now that I looked at it, the suits of Die Ranger were perfect. Like, I don't understand why they couldn't bring the suits over if it was a legitimate legal concern or they didn't have the money for it. Whatever it was. At least we got the White Tiger Ranger. Now,
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong. I think I'm not wrong. This is the first time we had a child be a ranger, a ranger in Sentai. Uh,
Yes.
yes, I forgot his name. Correct. Excuse me, but I forgot his name. Um, it was focused on the Dai warriors from Chinese culture. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So they had different fighting style, different martial arts fighting styles.
Yes.
You had Crane, you had Tiger, you had Drunken Fist, you had
Yes.
all kinds of different fighting styles. Okay, it was amazing from top to bottom. All right.
Yep.
First time that we ever had a child ranger get turned
Yep.
into a full blown adult, which again, still very awesome.
Mhm.
Um, the only reason why it wasn't adapted into Mighty Morphin Season 2 is because when they did the initial beta test for it, it
Yep.
failed miserably.
Oh
Kids
wow.
didn't understand it, right?
Yep.
Um, but yet, when they did like a poll for it, back in 94, 95, when they did a poll
Yep.
for him, like, hey, did you want to keep the, Mighty Morphin? Because of how well it did in the States,
Yep.
it skyrocketed. So that's the reason why it didn't get adapted into season 2, which sucks because that would have been perfect. Um,
Yeah.
to be honest, though, I mean, them making the current Dinozords at that time into the Thunder Megazord, the way that they did, they could have did something better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, on how they did it. Again, still one of my favorite type of Sentais because I'm a big fan of like the different martial arts fighting styles.
Yes.
And for this, them using Drunken Fist, which at this time you never saw,
Mhm.
It was very awesome because now they're starting to adapt the different cultures, different fighting styles, and stuff like that. So it was very awesome.
It
Um,
was.
Masks were awesome. The swords were awesome. Storyline was awesome. Um,
And the kid that
Everything
played
about it.
the kid that played the White Tiger Ranger was so fucking adorable. You can't lie.
Yeah, yeah, he was very good, being the first child actor when it came to Sentai. So,
Mhm.
very, very good. Very happy with how that turned out. So,
So we're going to put God Ranger God tier, correct?
yep,
Okay.
wouldn't have it any other way.
The next one, the season 3 at Mama Power Rangers, which, by the way, to me, I didn't really care for. I think we gave this a C on one of our videos, uh,
Yes.
because hate I hate the Alien Rangers. Okay, I loved them when I was a kid, and when I watched the Sentai of Kaku Ranger, it
Mhm.
made more sense. Ninjor had a bigger and better role in Kaku Ranger than he did in season 3, and it's you know, they use more of the traditional Japanese themes. The story is about Ninja Rangers fighting yokai. Okay, it was a series prior to Dire Ranger featuring the traditional Chinese themes. The suits were used mainly for Alien Rangers. I don't know what. Maybe the same thing happened with the whole beta thing, like you said, with Saban, and it failed. But I don't know where the hell did Avatar come from. Where the ugly ass Rangers, Alien Rangers, mind boggling. But at the time it worked. I will say that at the time it did
Mhm.
work. But I tell people all the time, if you like the Alien Rangers, go back and watch Calcul Ranger. Ninjor has, like I always say, has a bigger and better role. He's called Ninja Man. He's not called Ninjor, but he has a better role. And if you look at him long enough in the Power
Mhm.
Rangers season 3, he looks similar and just like the Alien Rangers helmets and suits that they wear.
Mhm.
So Kaku Ranger, I'm gonna put as legendary in my opinion, because the story was good. The suits were there. The Megazords, like I said, they each had their own Megazord, uh,
Mhm.
which combined into the Shogun Megazord. Legendary.
Mhm.
I only put it. I'm not putting it in God tier because the season 3 kind of goofed that up.
Yep. Um, this was also the first time that we seen a different outfit that was not the Ranger outfit. So they had
Yes.
their regular outfits and everything like that, right? Their everyday wear that they would, right? And then they had their ninja outfit, which was donned in robes and headgear and everything.
Yep.
And then they used that to turn into the ranger outfits that you guys see. Okay, so they
Mm-hmm.
had two separate power ups, right? When they donned their ninja outfits, they're basically their shinobi wear. I'll say it that way. Their shinobi wear.
Yep.
They had half their initial ranger powers: speed, strength, abilities, cloning, all that stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
Then, when they fully transformed into the Rangers outfits, that's when you got to see the full 100% power.
Yep.
Okay? So, that was the first time we've ever seen that. Because up till then, it was either, okay, cool, you're in whatever you're wearing, you, as they call it, henshin, right? Transform, basically,
Yep.
right? Transform.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're in the ranger gear. Now you have your powers. So this is the first time that we actually ever got to see a step up for that
Yes.
type of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
very awesome, very good.
Yep. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to O Ranger, which is Zeo, Power Ranger Zeo, where we got the name from this podcast, the Zeonizer podcast. Power Ranger Zeo remains a cornerstone in this podcast because of what it represents, how the powers grow stronger over time, much like me, David, and Jared, we grow stronger as a unit over time.
Mm-hmm.
The Sentai was amazing. Okay. Um, if you all notice, each uh, each spirit, not spirit, each Zord represents like Easter Island Heg, Sphinx, I think Pegasus. One of them.
Yes.
Yes, Pegasus. Each represent the wonders of the world. Ancient civilization. Okay. Each ranger was a pilot of the United Air Force with special abilities dating back to yeah, Pangea. Can't pronounce that real well.
Pangea.
Pangea. Um, but Power Ranger Zero had little in common with the plot of O Ranger. Have you ever noticed that? Has like
Yeah.
little in common with the plot. But still, it did well. The Zord, we all love the Zeo Megazord.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Plus, this is the first time that we've actually got to see Kaji symbols.
That too, with the whole gold Zeo Ranger and star and the cylinders and the square. Yes, it was just. I gotta give this. I can't for the life of me give the Zeo or O Ranger anything lower than a god tier because it remains one of the greatest seasons and one of the best Sentais out there. So I'm gonna say god tier because the weapons were there, the Zords were there. We got a chance to see the gold Zeo Ranger, probably one of the best 6 Rangers below to bring my impression.
Plus, this was the second time that we got to see not a child, but an adolescent. So, like a preteen, be a ranger. So, King Ranger, Gold Ranger, was a preteen from the ancient civilization that was sent out to space with the last descendant of that race out to space and was destined to return, some 5,000 years, 3,000, 5,000 years, something like that. Return to Earth. They return to Earth. And goes about his mission. So, it's the first time we got to see that.
Yes. And then we got to see, and if you watch Mighty Morphin, we got to see also St. John return as the Gold Zeo Ranger, which was it could have been a better revealing sequence instead of them running in the tender and a trench coat and a do-rag and sunglasses, which made no sense to me because we all knew what it was. But yeah, I gotta agree with you on that one, man.
Next up is Car Ranger.
Or for those of you who's Turbo in Mighty Morphin. So, Car Ranger was once believed to have saved Super Sentai from cancellation, in actual words. Car Ranger didn't sell as much merchandise as its predecessor, Turbo. On the other hand, many I don't know who these fans are, but majority of the Power Rangers, half I don't know if I say majority, but half of the Power Rangers fans believe that Turbo is the best generation ever, which I call BS. Very bad BS. I did like the whole car theme. It was first time since Turbo Ranger, believe it or not, and we got the car theme back. It was, I'm not gonna do what I can do with Turbo and give it an average or a mid. I'm gonna say it was great. I liked the weapons. The story was there. It was cringe here and there, but I'm gonna say great all around.
Yeah, it was pretty great. It was above average. It was pretty good, pretty decent. Second time we see something car based and solely car based. So it was pretty dope. I wish Turbo was as good as Car Ranger was.
True.
Because the Sentai was way better than the
Yeah.
Power Ranger adaptation.
I believe we gave Turbo Mid one of the vids before.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Next up is Mega Ranger, Power Rangers in Space.
Power Rangers in Space.
Mm-hmm.
This one made more. I was telling David about this before we shot the video, before we were recording.
Mm-hmm.
That Mega Ranger made more sense than In Space. A
Mm-hmm.
lot more sense. Okay, the whole kidnapping sister plot. Different casts, and that's what we hope for in a new series. A different cast.
Mm-hmm.
Cosmic Fury, I hope you're listening. Different cast, okay? And some people don't. I mean, the Megazord, phenomenal. Astro Megazord will always be top 5 in my list ever.
Yep.
The fact that it was an HQ and it was a Megazord. The suits were phenomenal, even though they did make a cameo in Squad A and SPD, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
This set the tone for what space is.
Yeah. Definitely.
Now, space, we did get space a lower tier last time, and we got people told us they didn't appreciate that. That was the only thing they didn't appreciate was space being so low. Mega Ranger, to me, is a bona fide god tier.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Mega Ranger was 4 times better than In Space was. Storylines were better. I mean, you had the Red Ranger basically win a contest. No, sorry. Yeah. He beats the bully at an arcade machine that is based on Mega Ranger.
Yes.
Okay. And then when he goes in and the mentor for the Mega Rangers basically tells him, hey, this is going to be a program that we're getting you in. He basically just tells him, okay, do you have food? Like, I'm hungry. Can I have food? Mm-hmm. So he brings him food and all this stuff, right? Thinks that he's going along with it, and he just tells him, no, I'm okay. I just came here for the food. Like, the savagery on this kid. This dude's barely in high school, and the savagery on him. All the other Mega Rangers were in high school too, by the way. But dude was just a straight savage. This is the first time that we got to see an entire group from the Super Sentai achieve an alternate form.
Yes.
So what I mean by that is, if you're thinking about it, think back to SPD, how they have their swap mode. Mega Ranger basically had its own version of swap mode.
Basically, yes.
The only difference, though, is that they only received that power when they had the Mega Voyagers. Okay? When they found the Mega Voyagers, you know, when they found those Megazords, right? That's when they were able to have the abilities of their essentially Mega Transformation. Okay? I wish they adapted that in space because that was my favorite part of Mega Ranger, but it is what it is.
You're correct. Oh, man. I believe we're heading to Giga Man.
Yes.
So Lost Galaxy. Lost Galaxy was 1998, 1999, which I'm not going to lie, 98, 99 was a good year.
Mm-hmm.
For me, at least. This was, I think, right after Space. Am I correct?
Yep.
Right after Mega Man. Yeah. Mega Man. Mega Ranger. Okay. Now, this was the beginning of Lost Galaxy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, Power Rangers began to change the casts with each series, just as Super Sentai always had. But it was never modified after that. So, this was the tradition that had remained ever since until recently, where casts will change and change and change and change. I'm guessing Cosmic Fury is breaking that chain because it's the third time we've seen the same cast. love the galaxy beasts. I love the Cold Quasar Saber concept. Each Ranger had their own Quasar Saber of different different power, different logo. Um, each Ranger had its own personality. Like the Megazords, the power was just lots of Orion. Still stands out to be one of the legendary power ups. Lots of Orion. I'm gonna go legendary with Giga Man.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean it was just awesome. So again, we go back into that. You said legendary.
Yes.
Okay. Um, we go back into that clan style of thinking, right? So, Giga Man, as modernized as it was, they're basically 5 separate people based off of a clan, and they come together to try to save the world. So, kind of like excuse me, kind of like Ryuranger, but a little different. So, still very good, still very cool. I liked it all the way around. To me, it had a better storyline um, than Lost Galaxy, better character development, and especially when it came to the Magna Defender, way better storyline.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Not knocking Lost Galaxy for anything, but um, you know, that's just my personal opinion. So, legendary as it is, still pretty awesome. Couple of things I wish they would have fixed, but other than that, still pretty decent. So, next one up, 1999 to 2000, was Go 5.
Lightspeed Rescue.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of Lightspeed.
Neither was I.
I kind of
However,
felt like
Go 5 was a little bit better. I mean, Lightspeed Rescues, we did put in, I believe, Rita's Dumpster Fire.
Yes, we did.
But Go 5 wasn't that different. To be honest, it was pretty average. It wasn't as bad as mid, but it was pretty average.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Go 5 and average. I only say that because David and Jerry know the story. I don't feel like repeating it again, but I don't have a
Yeah.
very good memory of Lightspeed Rescue. If anything, it's a horrible memory I don't like to relive. But Go 5, all I see is a Lightspeed Rescue. Like I said, like in the beginning of the video, I don't want to give any of these Sentais a garbage tier, a garbage ranking, because it doesn't belong there. Without Sentai, we wouldn't have Power Rangers. But I don't have a good memory with with a Lightspeed Rescue. I didn't watch Go 5. When I figured out what Go 5 was, I skipped it entirely.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let you decide.
Yeah, it's pretty average.
Okay.
So there's that. Next one up is
Time Ranger.
Time Ranger.
Or Time Force.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't like Time Force. To be honest, I felt the whole time travel thing confused the hell out of me. But the Sentai made a little bit more sense than the Power Ranger counterpart. I think this has 4 cadets, if I'm correct, 4 cadets of the Time Protection Bureau. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's 4. With a present day civilian that becomes a Time Ranger as well. Main objective to protect history. It was like a full sci-fi kind of kind of feel to it. They chose to capture monsters instead of kill them. So kind of like the whole SPD, the whole Deca Ranger, where they see their innocence, they're innocent or guilty, you know, they capture them. You know, some say Time Ranger was possibly inspired by the massive success of Pokemon as well. That's a one thing people don't realize, the whole capturing monsters. So I watched a little Time Ranger. I couldn't follow it quite well because, like I said, I tried to keep up with the story and everything else. The Megazord was dope as fuck. Not gonna lie. Just like Time Force, I'm gonna go with great, in my opinion.
Okay, I respect it. Still had a better storyline than Time Force did. So, I just didn't like the fact that they had to shed their clothes into their time suits and then do the change, because their time suits really didn't matter much. The way that it was explained in the show was that the only reason why they have the time suits is because since they're jumping in between time into the morphing grid, as they're doing it, their bodies can be discombobulated. So the reason why they have the time suits, but again, they didn't really need to shred their entire clothes, have the time suits, and then morph. That just added more time to it.
Yes.
Ironically, Time Ranger, get it? Ha ha ha. But with that being said, I do believe the next one up is Gal Ranger.
Yes, which will be Wild Force.
Wild Force.
You know, Wild Force is always a legendary tier in everyone's eyes, except for Merrick. No one liked Merrick. At least we didn't. At the Zero's podcast, we thought Merrick was severely just average. Zanaki was a legendary one, but we're not talking about Fire Rangers. Gal Ranger. Was this this was the 25th Super Sentai series? Am I correct?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
Yes, I can count. I'm so proud of myself. Shut up. Anyway. Man, this slaps, man. I mean, the suits, the Zord, the Megazord, the story was on par, perfect, and it transited over to Power Rangers, which was perfect in its own right. I believe that it was also the Super Sentai series was also known as the 100 Beast Squad. I think I'm correct.
Yes.
Okay, 100 Beast Squad. Okay. So I love the scenes. I love the morphs, the Megazords, everything about this Sentai, as well as the Power Rangers, the Power Ranger Wild Force counterpart. So I had to go with God tier instantly.
Fair enough.
Let me guess, you're gonna go with great.
No.
Oh wow, shocking.
No, I was gonna leave it at legendary.
Oh, legendary. I mean, we can go with legendary. I mean, what the?
So the only thing I didn't like, and y'all can at me for whatever reason, okay? This was the first time that we've seen multiple variations of a Megazord. Okay, which is why they're known as the 100 Beast Squad. To me, that kind of just overkilled everything. Okay, like, yeah, you have your 5 separate Megazords. They come together. They create one big Megazord, right? but then you can have different parts and everything. Like, oh, I don't
All
like
these,
this leg, let me put this leg on. Oh, I don't like this head, let me put this
but
head on. Oh, let me.
that was kind of creative though. All those attachments and all those different modes they could use. And you mean to tell me you didn't like that?
Only when it came to a whole new Megazord.
So you didn't like the
Like,
whole
case in
new
point.
leg, new body, new weapon. You wanted a whole new
No,
Megazord. That's what you're saying.
basically. Okay? And the reason for that is because in Wild Force, right, this is how I know it, right? So you had the Polar Bear Zord, you had the Black Bear Zord, and then you had the Gorilla Zord, and then I believe you had the Rhino Zord.
Yes.
Okay, those came together, and the Armadillo Zord. Those came together to form a whole new Megazord. Cool. But when you try to fit that with uh, the Wild Force Megazord, you had the Rhino and Armadillo Zord, right? So you took away basically the Toro Zord, which held up the lower half of the Wild Force Megazord. Okay, you had the Predazord, which was the wolf, alligator, and shark. No,
Yep.
hammerhead. Okay, you had that come together. That was a whole another Megazord, which again, fine. If you're gonna bring these different pieces together, at least have it create a whole new Megazord. That's all I'm saying. Okay, there shouldn't be reasons why you're, unless it's like weapons. But hey, yeah, I'm gonna switch out my arm that I have now for this arm, you know, because it might be more powerful. Again, case in point, the was it the Antelope Sword? That was switched, was technically a weapon because you were able to use it as a bow and arrow.
Yes.
Or a spear, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
No, bow and arrow, and then the Giraffe Zord was used as a spear.
Well,
So,
I don't think the 100 Beast Squad. I don't think they used all of them in the counterparts. There was just so many of them.
yeah. So, for me, that kind of like every episode is basically a new format, like a new formation, which got old very quick. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um,
I mean, we can put it legendary. I mean, since you make a very good point.
so that's just where I would rank it.
But you have a good point. I mean, um, trying to keep up with all the different modes and attachments, and I see what you're coming from.
Yeah. Um, Next up is Hurricane
Nin-
Ninja.
Nimbu Sentai. Now, Ninja Storm.
Yep.
Some to could be considered the best Disney Power Ranger ever. I
Mm-hmm.
think this was the first one that Disney produced. Am I right? Saban
Yep.
was Wild Force, so this was the first ever when Disney got their hands on Sentai, on the Sentai, Saban. This was the first series, but
Yep.
in Japan, this was Sentai in general. This is 2002 to 2003. Again, another good year,
Mm-hmm.
especially for Power Rangers. Now, Sentai, this was the first ever ninja-centric series since Kaku Ranger. Okay,
Yep.
same thing. Three students and a ninja academy. Uh, aliens take over as always.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Again, the Megazords on cue, on point. Uh, they have more the ninja-like feel to it, as well as their counterparts. Uh, I like the story. Just everything felt right. Everything fell into place.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm gonna go God tier, depending on how you feel.
I agree. So this was the first time that we actually seen a whole separate Ranger team, and
Yep.
I'm talking about the Thunder Rangers. Okay, that started out evil because even in the Sentai they were evil and then turned good. Okay, this
Yep.
was the first time that we've actually seen a legitimate evil Ranger team. We've seen evil Rangers, yes. Budai was one of them. Okay, evil turned good. Okay, you had um, what's another one? You've had examples. Okay, we've
Mhm.
had different special rangers. Evil then good. Magna Defender, evil turned good. Okay, even in the Sentai, evil turned good.
Yep.
Okay, but this is the first time we've had an actual legit team, which was the Thunder Rangers. Okay,
Yep.
badass. Okay,
Yeah.
if just straight up awesome. Okay, and then now this is the second, I believe, no, the third time that we've had a team of 6.
Yes.
First time was O Ranger. No, sorry. First, no, I'm forgetting how to count. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's been done more than once. I'll put it that way. I'm forgetting how to count at this point.
Hey,
Um,
they taught you how to count at Sesame Street, or did you forget?
yeah, I don't have enough fingers at this point.
God, use your toes. Use your toes.
I have shoes on. I can't see my toes.
Take your shoes
Um,
off.
nah. Um, but this is the first time, or so what I was getting to is this is the second time that we've seen a Green Ranger as an extra Ranger or sixth
Yeah.
Ranger.
Which
That's what I was
Cam,
trying to get to.
which Cam is badass as well. His Sentai counterpart is badass.
Yes. So, very awesome, very cool. This is when they start kind of tearing away from. So when Power Rangers got adapted from this show, right?
Mhm.
Its American counterpart, they started using less footage, believe it or
Yep.
not.
Yep.
So Disney didn't want to have to hard copyright Power Rangers, so they started using less and less footage. Still worked out phenomenal. Okay, still god tier, still one of the best. So
Oh yeah.
next up is Abba Ranger between
Which is
2003
which is
to 2004.
down under.
Yep.
Um, I don't understand Apple Ranger. I mean, I understand Apple Ranger, but
Yep.
Down on Thunder was just legendary and it's the instant god tier. If we were talking about Power Rangers because of JDF's role as the Black Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I really wish they would have kept the storyline of Alba Ranger, where it's set in a universe where a meteorite that crashed in Earth split Earth into a human planet and a dinosaur planet. And
Yeah.
now this team has to protect humanity from that planet. Um, that would that sounded so awesome. In Sentai, it was legendary. It was like on point. I really wish they would have brought that over to Dino Thunder because that would have sparked everything. Just opened my eyes up more. Um, it is also a damn good Sentai. It's one of the best there is.
Yep.
To the new generation. Um, I loved the more sequence badass. The Megazords are even more badass.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think this is where it started off as a team of 4 before the Stegosaurus White Ranger came into play.
No,
Uh,
team of three.
no, it was team of 3.
Team of three, my brother. So Brachio didn't come into play
Bro,
because he is technically an alien.
you need to get your no counting ass away from me. I forgot. That dang it.
See? See?
Uh, excuse
Team
me.
of three, my brother.
Team of 3. Excuse me. Okay, it's been a long day. Okay, all right.
Yes, it has.
Um, this is a good Sentai. Much like its predecessor, or not predecessor, much like its counterpart, Down on Thunder. This is worth the read. It's worth the check. Um,
Yep.
it's just wonderful. I mean, I would say God tier, but my heart's saying legendary.
Yeah, I agree with you. There was some issues with it. The only thing that kind of saved it from being non-legendary and putting it in great was the fact that the Power Ranger adaptation gave tribute to this in one of their episodes.
Mm-hmm.
However, in that episode, it was a legit. They did actually watch the entire new episode of that time. At that time,
Yeah.
they basically made fun of Americans being greedy, and they did. The American version did, you know, um, kind of like try to counteract that. Um, I
Yeah.
I I mean, it was still an amazing show. You know, they didn't really have to talk down on America at that point in time. Again, I understand they were just doing it for the show, but it is what it is. Characters were funny.
Yep.
They were goofy. It was awesome. Even the monsters themselves were stupid and funny. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the first time that we've actually had a Sentai series. I want to say have animal instincts. And what I mean
Yeah.
by that is
Yeah.
like how in Dino Thunder they had a Super Dino mode. When they morphed, their helmets kind of roared
Yep.
like they
That was
would
kind of
if it
cool.
was actual dinosaurs. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, that's the first time we've actually ever seen that.
Yes. Oh, we're getting into the good stuff now, man.
Deca Ranger.
Now, Deca Ranger. Oh my God, I really wish they would adapt the whole team in Power Rangers. We had a team of 10. It was 5 women Rangers, 5 men Rangers, and I can tell you that was a lot of action in this sense. You have no idea. Um,
Yep.
Now, for those of you who are not understanding what I say, SPD, we had a team of 5.
Yep.
Start off red, pink, green, yellow, and blue. Later on, I think episode 6 or 7, 5 or 6, 7, I think I may be wrong. We get the Shadow Ranger, Commander Kruger, dopest 6 Ranger, best weapon he's ever in the series. But in the Sentai, it was uh, 10 member team. Sadly, it was a 6 member team in the U.S., which was, I mean, I understand maybe cost restraints and all that, but at all, it was just sad that we couldn't see a 10 member team. But you'll see the difference between the doggy in Sentai and the doggy in America. The American adaptation, they went more ham on the effects of doggy's look than he did the Sentai look. The Sentai
Yep.
look, he looks like a furry cosplayer. I hate to say it that way, but he really does. Compared to the American adaptation.
Yeah.
We've given on the last one of our videos, we gave SPD an S rating because it is one of the best stories written. Megazords are dope. Uh, Perfect storytelling. It is just like the one before it, Deca Ranger. Um, Same thing with Deca Ranger. Good story. Plot is always there. There's not very many plot holes there. Yes, there's a lot of members of the Ranger team. There's 10 members, 5 men, 5 women, like I stated. Uh, it was actually focused on inspired by cop and detective shows. And it hit. It slapped. It was awesome. So Deca Ranger is a god tier in my book.
Yep. Definitely. This is the first time that we actually see police incorporated into a Sentai series or a Ranger series. So that was pretty interesting to see. Storyline was just amazing. Again, in the Sentai, there was 10 Rangers. They only adapted, I believe, 7 into SPD. So they did leave out, because you did have Omega Ranger. You also had Alpha Ranger.
You had Cat Ranger too.
You had Cat Ranger. so they did miss out on a few.
Yeah.
However, still straight up, storyline was amazing, everything like that. Unfortunately, I have to go use the restroom right now, so Jeremy is gonna entertain you guys.
Oh
So give
God.
me a second.
Don't put me on the spot.
Hey, you can talk about the next one, which is Magi Ranger.
Okay. Okay.
You know you want to.
Go to the bathroom. Jeez, I'm not gonna hold your hand. Not that I don't want to. Okay. Now that Mr. Phenomenal is going to the little boy's room, he can't hold it. I'm going to explain to y'all this one. This was Magi Ranger. Now, Magi Ranger, or Mystic Force, in the adaptation of Power Rangers, was great. It was awesome. It was wonderful. This was at the time period that Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter were successful franchises. And if you're a big Harry Potter fan or Lord of the Rings fan, you have my respect. Whenever I say that, I say go Ravenclaw. Screw you, Gryffindor. Anyway, moving on. Magi Ranger was the first Super Sentai production partially shot in New Zealand. Yes. Asia was mostly shot in Asia, but this was the first time that it was partially shot in New Zealand. Now, New Zealand is the country that was mostly shot. Can I say country? My geography is not very well, so excuse me. Most of the Power Ranger seasons were shot in New Zealand, and beautiful country from what I've heard. Takes place for 5 siblings that become a team of mages in order to fulfill their family's destiny at the time. Now, we got a totally different story in Mystic Force. We got 5 strangers, more or less. Nick being a traveling through Briarwood, and then stumbled upon this. So it would be kind of cool to see the 5 siblings that became mages or witches in this Mystic Force. There you are. How was your bathroom break?
It was pretty amazing.
Thank you for telling me something I didn't need to know. Anyway, it was bathroom.
Hey, you asked, fucker.
Yes, I know I asked, but she didn't have to tell me.
I mean, you asked a question. I'm gonna answer you.
I was hoping you wasn't going to answer the question.
Come on now. What fun would that be?
Exactly. What fun would that be? Moving on. I was just telling. I hate you sometimes. I was just telling the lovely folks that Magi Ranger was the first Super Sentai production partially shot in New Zealand.
Yes.
And that it was 5 siblings who became a team of mages in order to fulfill their family destiny. Now that was cool. That was awesome. Sadly, we didn't get that in Mystic Force. We got 5 strangers who kind of didn't really know one another very well, except for the 2 female rangers. And of course, Nick passing through the Briarwood, who stumbled, air quotations. If you've seen it, you know why I'm quotating it. Stumbles upon Briarwood. So, same thing with Mystic Force. The action sequence was just perfect. This was, like I said, this was during the time of Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter became big. Magic was awesome. I grew up in, like I said, I told Dave plenty of times, I grew up in a pagan household, so magic was a must. So it was nice to see this, growing up. Morphing was awesome. Megazords were dope. The form of the Korax Sentai version was badass. I'm not even kidding you. I'm with Mystic Force on this one. Just because Mystic Force is an S rating, Mystic Force is underrated. I believe Magi Ranger is also underrated as well. Many people look past this Sentai like they do Mystic Force. I'm gonna go God tier.
I agree with you. You already know Magi Ranger and Mystic Force are in my top 5.
Thank you.
Me and you have had loads of conversations about this shit. So
oh yeah,
I don't even have to really explain myself on that one, but I will.
Yeah.
Storyline, S.
Oh yeah.
Megazords, S. Character development, S. Enemies, S. Battleizer, S. I mean, just everything about it, just amazing. Yeah, I just, it's just awesome.
Oh yes, just not the next Sentai series.
And here's where things took a turn.
Turn. Go Sentai Balkinger. I think I pronounced that correctly.
Basically, Operation Overdrive.
Operation Overdrive. Now Operation Overdrive had its ups and downs, mostly downs. Andrew Harford being the absolute worst fucking mentor ever. But we're not talking about Tyrants, thankfully, because we just had so much negative shit to say about Operation Overdrive. Go Sentai. This was the 30th anniversary, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're right.
30th Super Sentai series. It was an anniversary show. Many references its previous series, including the 30th Sentai Encyclopedia series of Sentai, honoring Super Sentai shows and within the series itself. It plays out same thing as Operation Overdrive. Relics known as the Precious appear in the world. Several negative syndicates, weapons, all this kind of stuff. I think this Super Sentai, like I said, I don't want to give them anything garbage. I would have to say Go is mild, if at best. I don't want to go any lower than mild.
You mean mid?
Yeah, I said mild, didn't I?
Yep.
Shut up! Don't leave me alone.
Yeah, I'm not saying nothing. I agree with you. It's mid. Now, up to this point, we did see different clans of Rangers coming together to defeat evil, but when it came to this, they flipped it. You had different clans of villains coming together to defeat the Rangers, all based off of greed, mind you, but you still had different things. I wish I could say it was better than its Power Ranger American adaptation, but it wasn't. I wouldn't even call myself a Power Ranger fan and say that it was, because it wasn't. I'm not gonna lie and say that it was.
Yeah,
it's not worth it. Is it worth the watch? Not really. Okay. Now, if you want to be able to say, hey, yeah, you watched every single Sentai series and all of that, hey, by all means, I'm not telling you no. But me personally, if I could have skipped over this one, I would have.
Yeah. So the next one is Juken Gigeki Ranger. Jungle Fury. Now, we've said Jungle Fury is also one of those underrated Power Ranger shows. Doesn't get enough love.
True.
Although David would agree with me, I didn't like Dom. I didn't like the Rhino Ranger. I thought he was unnecessary. Much like the Sentai. I think this was the first Sentai that focused on. No, not Kung Fu. It's not the first one.
No. It was the first one that had multiple Rangers.
Well, see,
more than 6.
It starts. It's one of those Sentai series that starts off with 3. 3 warriors from the Gikai Juken Beast Arts. They use their abilities to defeat the 3 Kinma. It aired for a whole year with 49 episodes, which is not bad. I mean, not 84, but by no means. But it's 49 episodes. It was based on Chinese culture. It was also inspired by the anime Fist on the North Star, which is a damn good anime. I don't care what no one says. I did like the whole kung fu. I did the whole spirit animals and the way they morphed. The morphers were dope. Spirit Rangers were on par. If we were talking about Jungle Fury, we would give it an A tier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Legendary with Genki Ranger.
Yeah. So, for those of you that take that away, that are like wondering, okay, well, you guys talk about Jungle Fury and Geku Ranger and stuff.
Yep.
Imagine Die Ranger with Mask Man.
Yep.
Mix that together, you have Geku Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mask Man was all about spirits, aura, spirit animals, things like that. Die Ranger was again spirit animals, aura, magic, ki, basically, martial arts, things like that. You mix those together, you have Geku Ranger, and it is very, very good.
Yeah.
And there was some issues with it, as far as they did have, I believe, 8 total Rangers. No.
Yep. No. 5, 6. You had the original. You had the 5. You had yellow, white, red, purple, blue. Which, by the way, purple. First ever Purple Ranger was RJ. Then you had then you had Black Bat, Green Elephant, Blue Shark.
Yep.
And then you had what was the other?
Antelope,
Gorilla, Gwen,
Mao, Monkey,
Mao.
Basically.
Yeah, Monkey. So yeah, that was quite a big team. It was, I think 10 or 11.
Yeah. So they actually had more than. So what we're getting at, right? They had more than Geku Ranger.
Yes. And the thing, we actually saw the team. Like I said, we didn't get to see the full team of SPD, which would have been even more badass on one screen. Like we did.
Not to mention
Genki Ranger,
Chameleon, and Daishi.
Yes. Which I didn't understand the whole Daishi. Okay, that's for another period. Moving on. Oh God.
RPM.
Engine Sentai. Go Onjur, which is RPM. Me and David both stated we did not really care for RPM.
Nope.
We still get hate for it. Did care for it.
I don't give a shit.
Well, I like the suits. The Sentai, however, to me did a better job of representing the brand than RPM did.
True.
If you put the two together, if you put Engine Sentai and you put RPM together, they may look the same, but they're not. Just like every Sentai and Power Rangers, they're not the same, but they look the same, but they're not. So if you put these two Sentais together, we would put RPM in the trash instantly, and put Engine Sentai a little higher. Because Go On
not by much.
Not very much, but it made more sense. So I'm gonna put Engine Sentai mid.
I agree with you. It's mid. Ain't no arguments otherwise. If you want to argue, by all means, I got food in me, so I will gladly argue with you without even spilling a drop.
I like how you And like you said that with such confidence. I got food in me. You want to argue, bitch?
Yeah.
Bring it.
Dude, I'm eating fucking chips and dip right now as we're having this conversation. Okay.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, game changer. What kind of dip are you using?
Dude, it was just something that I bought from the store just because I had to spend more than $5 to use my debit card. You know those liquor like mom and pop liquor stores that charge you like 75 cents or whatever
No, well,
to use your
what
card.
kind of dip? What kind? I don't care where it's from. What kind of dip?
It's the chunky salsa from
Oh,
Tostitos.
oh, bro, talk dirty to me. I love that stuff. Woo. I like to put some ghost pepper sauce in there and stir it up.
An aristocrat.
Oh, thank you. Okay, we're talking about food. I'm getting hungry. Damn it,
You're welcome.
asshole. Anyway, our next. Okay, it's so bad. We're not going to tell you why we put RPM mid. Just be glad we didn't put it in the trash can like we did RPM. Samurai's next. Shinkinger.
It's mid as fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Samurai, Haru Samurai, trash. Instantaneously, no argument needed. I mean, theme was inspired by feudal Japan. A long generation struggle between samurai and underworld creatures called the Jidashu, which made more sense than samurai.
True.
The show was the first to ever feature a female Red Ranger in the Sentai. Okay.
That is true.
First female Ranger in the Sentai, named Runa Natsui. It was first adapted. It was adapted to the American version with Lauren Shiba, but we all know Lauren Shiba was only for a couple episodes.
Yeah.
I think since this was the first ever Sentai female Red, it's got to be a little bit past mid. I would say great.
All right. I mean, fair enough.
I like the theme it was inspired by.
Yep.
The Megazords were top notch. The acting was great. There was the drama was there. Unlike Samurai, I didn't think shit about Samurai. So I have to give it a little bit higher than mid.
I like the Morphers.
Yeah, the Morphers are awesome. Oh god, I figure out what's next.
Megaforce.
Zeonizer.
Yeah.
Okay, this is when they started using trading game cards. This is in 2010.
Yeah.
Okay. Sentai Zeonizer was the first Super Sentai series to use trading cards as a thing. Now, don't get me wrong. I played Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Duel Monsters, and all of that in school. Still do.
So did I.
I still play Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duel, which can't wait to school these boys in some Yu-Gi-Oh.
In your dreams, Pedro. In your dreams.
Press 1 for English. Oh, I'm just joking.
Asshole.
Thank you. But this was the first Sentai that used trading cards as their morph, which by the way was awesome. Not gonna lie, it was awesome. I did like the thought and the idea of it.
It's great, bro.
Yeah,
it's not legendary. It's not.
It's great. I'm gonna say great. I did go legendary. Okay.
All right.
You're forgetting what's coming up in 2016, 2017. That's legendary. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with great. Since it did come up with a new concept to morphing, which was the trading cards.
Yep.
Megazords are
Yeah.
I did like the suits. Um,
I kind
however,
of liked how they were all like heavenly based. Um,
yes,
that
like an
one
angel,
was the only
kind of
cool
like
part.
angelic, invisible to humans type.
Yeah, that was
Yes,
pretty cool.
that was cool.
Um, I just didn't really like the bulky morphers
Yeah.
because then they try to act like it was a cell phone, and that's not a fucking cell phone. Like,
Mhm.
you're better off making that more of like a belt buckle than a cell phone. But
True.
yeah. So there's that. Uh,
Gokaiger, the Super Mega Force.
that's God tier, bro. Captain
Okay,
Marvelous, come on now, dog.
bro, that's gotcha. Now we've done stated how we felt about Power Rangers Super Mega Force trash. Because
Facts.
we felt that it did not tell the full damn story. It did
Nope.
not. Um, there were more Easter eggs in that legendary war there was the freaking the adaptation. Um, it pays homage to previous shows, including including them all, the space pirates, the everything.
Mm-hmm.
It was perfect to watch. A lot of Easter eggs. And we just had Easter. Funny. A lot of Easter eggs in this Sentai. And the fact that I really wish they could have, the adaptation could have gotten the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm just sad. I'm just sad to see the adaptation go in the trash can, but this is instant God tier.
Yeah. So instant God tier, it was just amazing from the get go. Um, I mean, storylines were great. They're still making movies about it to this day.
Yep.
So it's just amazing. It
Hmm.
sucks we didn't really get an adaptation for it until like 2017, 2018, right?
Yep.
Took a while for us to get an adaptation for it, but once it did, man, was it so worth it. So
It
as
was.
bad as Super Mega Force was, I mean, the counterpart, the Sentai of it was just, man, chef's kiss. It was just amazing. So,
Next, we got Go Busters, which is Beast Morphers.
yep.
Now, I have not watched Go. Yes, okay. I have not watched Go Busters or Beast Morphers yet. So I'm kind of saying I'm planning on this is what I'm planning. I'm planning on watching Beast Morphers this tomorrow. So this Tuesday coming out,
Okay.
I'm off tomorrow. So I'm gonna watch as many episodes as I can.
Okay.
But I know for a fact Go the Sentai is always better. So I'm saving to watch the Sentai with my boys at PMC next year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saving for that. But I'm gonna let David rate this one.
So as y'all seen me, right? I moved it to great because it was pretty good. Um, for its counterpart, I mean, I'm not gonna spoil it for you, Jeremy, but you're gonna have to watch it. But as the Japanese counterpart, it is pretty good. It's not amazing. It's not breathtaking in any way. Go Busters, they are cops, right?
Yep.
They are detectives, um, and they do, you know, solve crimes and everything like that. So
I was wondering why they look like secret agents.
yeah, they're basically that. They're detectives, secret agents, type of thing.
Yep.
So they do have that. Um, is it worth to watch? Definitely. But to say that it's legendary or god tier, yeah, I'm not gonna go that far. So it's great. It's pretty good. It does share in its own tier like everybody else does, but it is pretty good. So next one up is Dino Charge. It's Japanese. adaptation. I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce it, but yeah. So Dino Charge. Yeah, I think that's it.
I didn't care for Down Charge. I thought the whole Blaster Morpher was so stupid.
Yeah.
And I think this is like 10 Rangers.
Yes.
I didn't watch the Dino. I mean, I watched the pilot Dino Charge Power Ranger. I didn't like it. I didn't care for it, to be honest. The Sentai, like I said, I don't want to throw any Sentai in the franchise ending tier because they all are so perfect in their own unique way. And yes, we did have different opinions on them. I just felt like this Sentai was not. I felt this Sentai kind of lost its way a little bit. I'm gonna go with mid on this one.
See, I went average for it.
Well, I mean, I went mid because it received extremely low ratings in Japan.
Okay, I respect that. Yeah, so I mean, it kind of just states in itself. You know, we don't want to put any Sentai in, you know, the dumpster because they basically walked so that way Power Rangers could run. But at the same time, you just gotta be honest with it. Is it amazing? Is it good? Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, the Blaster Morphers, that really doesn't make sense. You know, the fact that they're dancing around, you know, when they morph and everything like that, that doesn't really make sense. You know, yeah. So to me, it wasn't really worth it. Now this next one though, that's a different story.
Train Force.
Toku Ranger. Yep. Toku Ranger.
This deserves a adaptation. For many reasons why, because the actions there, the Zords, they focus on trains. Now we've seen some Zords that are trains in the past, but this one takes the cake. Many people think that this is a joke. That, you know, at first people thought this was a fan made thing, but it's not. It's not. It continues to sink in popularity, surprisingly, in Super Sentai and Power Rangers. Many people don't see it for what it's worth. I just can't believe that they want to adapt Dino Charge and Dino Fury. Shows that made no sense. Even Operation Overdrive, but yet you don't want to adapt Train Force. It's, like I said, first Super Sentai show in decades not receiving a counterpart, and it deserves one. Kind of like Q Ranger for one. Simple storyline. Train drivers / warriors trying to save the world from Emperor Z, a villain trying to bring pure darkness into the world. Like I said, simple villain, simple goal of him trying to accomplish. And it's cool because they travel through different cities on these trains, and we get to see different worlds too. We get to see different atmospheres, different environments. The Megazord battles are like off the chart. I don't understand why this is not popular, and I don't get why it's not being adapted. If I was Hasbro, I'd be jumping on this right now.
Yeah. So for me, it's God tier. Here's the reason why. This is the first and only Super Sentai that the Rangers, obviously later on down the series, when all 6 have achieved their powers and everything, have the ability to switch their colors.
Yes.
Okay,
Which is
if Pink
dope as
Ranger
fuck.
wanted to be the Red Ranger, they could, take their morpher and morph with it, because they've already built up that DNA code with the powers. They can switch colors if they wanted to. So not only did we see two females be Red Ranger, we seen a male be a Pink Ranger, we seen a male be a Yellow Ranger, right? We've seen a lot of different things when it came to this, right? It was just amazing. Okay, storylines were
Yes.
dope, character plots were dope. The way that they introduced the Sixth Ranger, to me it was kind of funny because it reminded me of that song YMCA, because the Sixth Ranger is
I forgot about
basically a
that.
construction worker, right?
Oh god.
Who, um, like his helmet is a hazard construction helmet. Like his
Yeah.
helmet is based off of that. It's funny as shit. Like, and his outside attire is a construction worker, YMCA. It's hilarious. Okay, it's just
Yeah.
it's just awesome. It's god tier for me.
Indeed, I agree with you. Now, for those of you who listen to this, you're gonna laugh at us. Laugh if you want. It's fine. Like I said, we have a different opinions of this. Train Force needs to be made and adapted. If you
Yes.
don't believe us, go rewatch it and analyze every scene. Like you said, you can change Ranger colors. The trains can travel different cities, different planets. Megas
Mhm.
battles are off the chart. The morphing sequence, how they morph is just pure awesome.
Mhm.
It's worth a watch. I mean, just try it out. Don't believe what your friends are saying, what your homeboys are saying. Don't believe what the critics say. Judge it for yourself.
Yep. Straight up.
So for
So.
this one, we had the next one. We have uh, the Ninja Steel, but more or
Yep.
less. I didn't give a shit about Ninja Steel. Um, other than the Dimensions in Danger. Um, other than that, that's about it. I'm just sad that we didn't get that team up. You know what team up I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Um, Ninja Steel. I didn't give Ninja Steel a very good rating when we did the show tier list. I think we gave it a mid or worse. Uh, mm, wait, is this the one we had the ninja team up? It was
Yep.
this one Ninja Storm and Kaku Ranger.
Yep.
Now, if we got this team up in Power Rangers, it would be much higher on the list.
Mhm.
But since they kind of missed out on that, and I was kind of pissed off when we didn't get that because that was an awesome team up.
Mhm.
This one I'm gonna put mid. I didn't like the Sentai of Ninja Steel. I didn't care for it. I got like man, I watched like 4 episodes and I just turned it off. I didn't care for it.
Yeah. Plus, how are you gonna have three different versions of a Red Ranger?
This is true.
I'll just leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
So next up, I don't know I can't pronounce the name even if I tried, but I
Yabu
call it basically Jungle Force 2.0.
Jungle Force Super.
Basically,
Zyuger.
yeah.
Okay. This one was all right. It was kind of cool the fact that
Mhm.
their suits were the faces of their animals.
Mhm.
Uh, it was paying homage to Sun Vulcan. If you look at it long enough, um, there's three primary colored rangers. There was no pink
Mhm.
ranger though, nor black. We had red, blue, yellow, green, and white.
True.
So this is the 40th anniversary. Now
Yeah.
this was an amazing Sentai. I'm not going to lie when I say that. Very, very fruitful, very and incredible. The fight sequence was good. I like the villain based in this. Uh, kind of like a zoologist destined to become Earth's champion. It had
Mm-hmm.
it had all the makings of a good storytelling Sentai. Storytelling Sentais that we've missed ever since Jetman. So, um, to me, I'm going to have to give this one a legendary because of the story. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very sad that this will never get adapted into Power Rangers. Now
Yeah.
that Hasbro is leading towards writing its own material, which is sad because all these adaptations are waiting in the lobby to be adapted, and it's sad. So with
Yeah.
that being said, it shows respect. It shows a homage to Son Vulcan. I'm gonna give this a legendary.
Yeah. So the only thing that I didn't like was the fact that their morphers were basically a Rubik's cube.
Wait, you didn't like the Morphers, really,
Nah,
bro?
because the way that I think of it is this, right? And to me, that's the only reason why I keep it at legendary, is because let's say you're being attacked. Let's say
Okay,
your emotions are on high.
okay,
Let's say you dropped your morpher and everything, and all the pieces got mixed together, right? Way
okay.
out of order. Now you have to solve the puzzle in order to be able to morph. Well, let's say it takes too long. Let's say you start panicking, freaking out. You're not going to be able to morph.
That's
So
something
what do
your
you do?
clum. That's something your clumsy ass would do.
You too, motherfucker.
Yo, yo. If you are a ranger, okay, listen to yourself. You give yourself these what if scenarios, and it drives me crazy sometimes. You're a ranger. You become a ranger because you're steadfast, you're calm, and you're patient. Correct me if
Man,
I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay? You mean to tell me you're going to drop your morpher and forget how to put the puzzle together and morph? You don't need to be a ranger. You got to be able
bro,
to
there
be
was a
patient.
ranger that won a damn contest, and he became a Power Ranger. Fuck is you talking about? All right. So, nah, we're not finna do that. The one thing I did like though is the fact that the sixth ranger basically wears two separate spirits at the same time. So it has a gold and a silver all in one. So that was pretty badass. Um,
That's funny.
it's pretty legendary though.
I would say
Next up,
legendary. But you know what also is legendary? The fact that you're dropping your shit.
hey, I'm just saying, man, it happens. I mean, we've had rangers panic before. We've had
Yes,
rangers freak out before, and
yes,
they weren't
we
able to
have.
morph until they calmed down or until their, you know, teammates and everything join up with them, blast the enemies away for a quick second for them to get their bearings together and then morph. Happens
Okay,
every time.
you have a point. But next, ladies and gentlemen, 2017, 2018,
Uchiyo Sentai.
Q Ranger. This right here is underrated as fuck. Okay, for those of you who have not paid attention, we talk a lot of crap about Cosmic Fury,
Yep.
and and we stand by it. It's not
Mm-hmm.
it's nothing cosmic about it. It's just Dino Fury season 3. Man, me and your boy David, we can just go off on why we think this is not going to work at all.
Mm-hmm.
Minus this, it's just besides the point of the first full series Female Red Ranger, which is awesome. Um, but we're not talking about Cosmic Fury. We're not talking about Power Rangers. We're talking about Uchiyo Sentai Q Ranger, which, by the way, the suit's magnificent. I mean, the helmet
Mm-hmm.
matches their star constellation. This particular Sentai is based on different Greco-Roman gods. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's Q Ranger is a group of insurgents chosen by magical stones to defeat the dark matter. A dictator who's conquered Earth at this point in time. And it incorporates interstellar. I think it's kind of cool. It incorporates interstellar theme that remained
Mm-hmm.
that reminded the fans of like Star Trek, Star Wars. It was actually set in its own. Get this. its own unique universe.
Nice.
It was more innovative than any other series. It was the third Super Sentai series in the 2010s that didn't receive a Power Ranger adaptation. Regardless, they deserve their own comic. I stand firm. I will say this. If Boone's listening, make Uchiho Sentai Q Ranger Boone comic. Please, I'm begging you. You would draw so many OG Sentai fans into the fold. The Megazords are awesome. Don't get me started on the Globe Morphers and the Globe Morphers, not Cosmic Fury. Okay. You have a team of 12. Okay. Each one of them different personality, different fighting style, different color. Black and red being my all-time favorite. Lucky, bro. Don't get me started with Lucky. Lucky is an OG. Lucky is badass. It's worth every penny and every chance to check this out. Trust us, guys. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah, so it is. It's very awesome. You know, they go based off of astronomy, horoscopes, 12 different rangers, the most that we've ever had at this specific time, but it fits so well.
It does.
You had 2 separate Red Rangers, which is fine. You know, we had that in Time Force, in Time Ranger, but this was just another level. This was just amazing.
Yes. And I
really wish.
I know if Jerry was here with us, he would praise the Blue Ranger. The Lupin Ranger is probably his favorite one. Talks about it a lot. And I like the fact that each Ranger had its own. They had their own struggles fighting the powers, fighting their way to morph. There's a one where the Blue Ranger, who happens to be an animal, okay, which is awesome, by the way. None of them, half of them are not even human, okay. So find a way to morph. It's just great. The Megazord, the Q Ranger Megazord, iconic. Probably one of the only things me and Dave are going to enjoy watching Cosmic Fury is the Globe Morphers and the Q Ranger Megazord.
Yep.
But I'm gonna give this. I know my boy David's gonna agree with me. Instant God tier.
Oh yeah. So next up is Lupin Ranger and Pat Ranger, which this is the first Sentai that we've ever seen that has a Ranger team that are criminals.
Yes. You will never see this adapted in America, ever. Well, hey, no, but Pat Rangers are law enforcement officers.
Yes.
Okay.
Lupin Rangers are magicians that are thieves.
Yes. Which, by the way, I like the concept of cops and robbers. I mean, it's a good concept. I mean, we all think cops and robbers as kids.
Of course.
But in America, the way people see cops nowadays is not a good product. I mean, I don't have any problems with cops, but it's not a good representation in America with everything going on in today's world. It features 10 members of one team, but they're all allies from the beginning. You know, I watched maybe half the episodes. They're after the same crime syndicate. They're after the same people, but it seems like they fight with each other more than they fight somebody else.
Yeah,
you know,
they're always getting each other's way, but it's funny.
Yeah.
It's goofy. Very good. It even got to the point where they have one that's Lupin X, that's a magician, that's a thief, but started out in the process to being a Pat Ranger.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's legendary.
I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna go with legendary. It'd be cool to see this adapted in America. I mean, how they would go about it, but we still have to thankfully thank Japan for making it this time.
Yep. And then now we have Dino Fury.
Okay, before we get to Dino Fury, little Easter egg. Okay, not Easter egg, a little honorable mention. It's not on this list.
Mm-hmm.
Super Sentai Strongest Battle.
Ooh.
It was a mini series in the franchise featuring a tournament in which 32 different Super Sentai teams competed against one another in 4 episodes. Several members of the previous Super Sentai teams would battle one another for the chance to get any wish they desired. It isn't the only crossover of the show, but its battle format is unique, and the series hasn't been adapted for the Power Rangers franchise. So imagine your best. Okay, imagine it adapted over. The best Power Rangers fighting against one another in a tournament for a wish. So Dragon Ball Z meets Power Rangers in the World Martial Arts tournament. Imagine.
Tournament of Power.
Yes.
I can see that.
And we all know who wins. So.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's an honorable mention. We're not gonna put it on the tier because it's not provided. But that came out in 2019. It's a mini series.
Yep.
So we're gonna get to Dino Fury. Sorry.
Yeah. So, as far as the Sentai goes, to me, it's average because it wasn't great, it wasn't terrible, it wasn't quite dumpster fire either. It did have its good points. I did like the fact that it kept to the Sentais itself, like these are actual knights. It's not like how they made it seem in Power Rangers Dino Fury, where they're Knights of Rafcon and stuff like that. This is legitimate, knights and, powers and things like that. So they fight with honor and everything.
It's actually funny. This Sentai remains the only show to introduce a Brown Ranger.
Yep.
Yeah, a Brown Ranger. Imagine how much laughter kids will ensue seeing this on fucking adaptation.
Yeah.
But I don't understand what the. Okay, all the Sentais that didn't do so well. There's a few that didn't do so well. What's ratings wise, poor ratings, but still got an adaptation. But those who soared in the ratings never got an adaptation. I don't understand that.
It's so they do a lot of beta tests for children, and if it doesn't pick up in the beta test, then they don't do it, which makes no sense. Because let's be honest, kids ain't watching Power Rangers nowadays. It's all the adults.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. If they did now, if they do a beta test for the children, and the children said, "Oh, I don't like this," and they listened, and they improved. Now, if they do beta testing for video games and Diablo 4, I'm looking at you. If you don't like it, and you don't like it, if you say you don't like it, nothing gets changed.
Yeah.
So, please, Hasbro, at least appear to the adults who keep following your product, keep following the Sentai, and keep following the show, because at the end of the day, it's our opinion, really.
Yeah. So this is our list of God tiers, legendary. I put it as average. I kind of figured you were gonna do the same.
Yeah, average.
So this is our list, you guys. As you guys can see on the screen, God tier, legendary, great. We're done.
We sure? We're missing like 2 or 3 more.
No, so this went up to Dino Fury. It didn't do Dawn Brothers or.
Didn't do Dawn. Oh my god, that was a legendary right there.
Yeah. So I'll have to find another one that used that adaptation, but this one was just up to Dino Fury. So I assume they cut it off at 2020, because Dino Fury the Sentai didn't come out until 2020. Anyways.
Yeah. So yeah, that's our tier. Sadly, Dawn Brothers and the new Sentai, King Algier, is not on there
Yeah.
because it's not been finished yet. Um, but yeah, this is the tier that we've done. Like I said, we kept our promise. It kept Sentai away from trash. Few of them are mild, mid, field average, and I mean they're pretty much equal from great to God. So actually, we have more in God than anything else.
But it's for a reason, though.
Yeah,
They are pretty decent. This is our solid picks. We'll be posting these on our social medias. So if you guys follow us on Instagram, Zeonizer Podcast 3, we're gonna be posting it there. We're gonna be posting it on our Facebook. Zeonizer Podcast on Facebook. And then once this video is uploaded, you guys can see it. So, like I said in the beginning, if you don't want to watch this full 2 hours and 50 minutes worth of a video, and you want to skip ahead to what your favorite Sentais were and see how they're ranking, by all means, go ahead and do so. You guys can do that clickety-clack stuff on the video. Yeah.
Your age is showing.
I know, and I'm barely gonna hit 30. So, with that being said, you guys, make sure you guys follow me, your boy PhenomenalMiklo. I'm on Twitch, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, all same name, Phenomenal_Miklo. Except for my Twitch, it's PhenomenalMiklo on one word. And make sure you follow my boy Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm on TikTok, Rude Devil 666, because I am kind of a rude devil. If you think about it.
Yep.
I do run the Zeonizer podcast page on Facebook. Oh, not Facebook. On Instagram. I have a Twitch account. Nothing's on it yet because it's linked to the Zeonizer podcast. We're going to be streaming some new games coming up. June and July are going to be big months for the Zeonizer podcast. Can't wait. The 30th anniversary special of Power Rangers. Netflix, we're going to be, Jerry and David are going to be doing a live reaction. You'll be able to see all three of us reacting to the show, the series, the special. And y'all keep an eye out because April 20th, your boys and Grim on one call discussing anniversary in detailed precision. So y'all stay waiting for that. Thank you guys for letting us do this tier. We've been planning this for about a week now. But we'll continue to bring you entertainment regardless of if Power Rangers, Marvel, DC, video games, anything pop culture related, we got you on that. So until then, follow us on all of our social media platforms. I'm Mr. Fun Guy. I'm with
This is your boy PhenomenalMiklo. Oh, and just to give you guys a little sneak peek, if you guys haven't already seen the newest trailer to Power Rangers Once and Always, Billy and Alpha have created proxy power coins for Rocky and Cat.
Ooh.
So love to see how that turns out for them. So without further ado, you guys, this is your boy PhenomenalMiklo with my good buddy
Mr. Fun Guy. And remember, you guys want to be Zeonized, you know where to find us.
So, everybody stay safe and have a good night.
Later.